Ooh, right. Hello, my lovely little Titans, and welcome to another edition of the weekly Hangout of Randomness. I hope all of you guys are doing well. Hope all of you can hear me. We shall see. Yeah. Hi, Sharose. Hope you had a good week. Hope you had a good day. Oh, not too bad. A little tired, but not too bad overall. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? Good. How was your week? Not always. I mean, it sounds like it's not fun, but I mean, I'd rather have a kind of boring week than a very dramatic one where everything and anything decided to happen all at once. Me, what did I do this week? Nothing really exciting. Mostly just hanging out and playing with my daughter. That's about it. Yep, nothing too exciting. I kind of was feeling a little burnt out this week, so. Oh, nice. That's always fun to get around little kids when you don't have to take care of them. That's awesome. Die from the key. Yeah, I feel that. Um I still get that way with my daughter sometimes. She'll do something really adorable or she'll say something really cute and I'm just like, my heart. It is no longer in my chest, it has melted into goo. It is no longer an organ, it is just a puddle. It's awesome when it happens. It's just random things she does that are just like freaking adorable. Like on a normal person, it'd just be like very blasé, but for her being a tiny person, it's just so cute. Like we'll just say something like "Yes, Daddy" or something like that, or "Yes, Mommy" or "May I" or some. I don't know. It's just little things that they do that is just ultra cute. Yeah, since we were talking about it, what last week? Are you realizing anything new, or are you just enjoying the nostalgia of it? That one's an old one too. Jesus. Yes, agreed. Tiny babies are cute to the power of 100, for sure. Haven't really met one that isn't. Yeah, I haven't met too many babies that I wouldn't consider adorable beyond words. Hello, Ira. Good to see you. I hope you had a good week. Like carry more than he could. Yeah. haven't watched that one in a while. I'm not really planning on rewatching it. I didn't really care for it. I watched it and then I'm just like, because then I heard about the manga was supposed to be. I'm like, the manga was so much better. Like, I get that most anime are just made one season to get people interested enough to read the manga to find out what happens next. It's like a trailer, kind of an extended trailer for the manga. But it's like, if you're gonna make an anime and it's supposed to be like an introduction to the manga or something to get you interested in it, why not make it very close to the manga? Why deviate so much? That doesn't make sense to me. It's like, if you're doing this to kind of showcase this manga to get people interested enough to watch it to then read it, why do you just drop it? Because sometimes, manga isn't easy to keep up with if you have limited funds or something. But anime is pretty easy to keep up with. It's like almost every streaming service has it, or you can watch it for free on Crunchyroll with ads, or Funimation also with ads. You can watch most things for free with ads, but it's really hard to get manga, especially in some places. So I don't understand why they just don't, continue on, and then why don't they make it closer to the manga? Why do they make so many changes if it's just supposed to be this, oh hey, here's this really awesome story, we're gonna end it here, but go read the book? Why not just make it as close to the manga as possible? That way people are like, oh, that's awesome, they go read the manga, and then they can keep up. I don't know, it just seems weird the way they do it. I know it's some kind of weird marketing, but I just don't. It's like, either commit to the idea or don't. The Assassination Class manga art stuff was terrible. Oh man, I feel that with a lot of anime I watch. Like, especially if they go through multiple studio changes throughout their duration, it's like, holy crap, some of these look terrible. And I don't even just mean Attack on Titan. That one did, because you have the nice one, then you have the kind of the middle ground in season 3, and then you have season 4 dumpster fire. So yeah, that one doesn't count. Well, it does, but it's not my other thing. It's like Seven Deadly Sins. You watch the first season, and then you watch the second and the third season, and you're like, what happened? And same with like My Hero. Like, it's huge differences in certain parts of the seasons. Like, it's like almost like different people came through and added a little flair or whatever. So, well, I feel like multiple studios touch these anime, even if we don't know them, as like, even if it's not as big a change as like some switching studios completely. I feel like they get new artists, or they send in different groups to go in there and do certain parts because they feel like their other group isn't strong enough. So you definitely can kind of see shifting art styles, even in just normal mainstream anime that haven't had major studio changes. My week's been good, but I kind of changed bus at my school, and I have to work at 5. Oh God. Well, I can't say much. I have to wake up at 5 a.m. now because my job starts at 7 a.m. So that'll be fun. I've never been an early bird. School sucks. I'm like middle ground on that. I can stay up late and I can get up early too. It just depends on what I need to do. Assassination Classroom anime stuff. Yes, I can agree with that. It was a lot better. Plus, I'm a senior for last year school. Glad with being final year at school. Feels like they're giving all the work, and that's. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. That sucks. I'm glad it's your last year, though. That way you can. What's done? It's done. It's done, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. But then you have college. But I mean, I think college is way easier, way nicer. That's my final year, but my school also does anyone stays 21 or 22. Wow. That's crazy. I know at my high school, one of my 2 high schools that I went to, you could do what they called a victory lap if you felt like you needed more preparation or you wanted to get a little ahead in college without paying for it. It was your year 5, and you could be like 19, 20 when you graduated or when you left. So I knew a few people who did that. Yeah, I was like, why would you want to stay for an extra year? Like, I get you might not be mentally ready for college, but shit, who wants to go through another year of high school? Especially if all your friends moved on and you had nobody. Like, what are you going to do? Who are you going to talk to? The other grade 12s that are there that you didn't really know? Because, I don't know. That just blows my mind that people would voluntarily stay in high school longer. They couldn't have paid me. They couldn't have paid me enough to stay in high school any longer than I did, and I left early. I don't regret leaving early because I hated high school that much, but I still think maybe I was a little young to go right to college. But, they couldn't do much with me after that. They said I could stay until I graduated as a proper 12th grader, but my mom and I both felt that I'd get way too bored. Help me and my friends go to the same college. That'd be cool. I didn't have any friends to go to college with, but I get your meaning. I do remember Princess Tutu. Yep, I do remember that one. It's the reimagining of Swan Lake. It's really good. I thought that one was really sweet. Very different, very interesting idea on it. Very sweet. The ending was very unexpected, to be honest. I didn't quite think it would go that route, but it did, and it was really good. I liked it. It's one of the few that didn't necessarily have a traditional happy ending, but it was still happy enough that you felt satisfied. So Princess Tutu, it's basically about this, like I said, it's a reimagining of the ballet Swan Lake. This little duckling has a magic, I think it's amulet. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mira, but I think it's a magical amulet that allows her to transform into a human. And she goes and she performs ballet. And she did it to get to know this boy that she had met, this prince. And he doesn't really notice her at first, but then he does when they're performing some version of Swan Lake. And is it the Swan Lake or the Nutcracker or something like that? It's really weird. They did a spiff, but it was all about ballet. And the duckling ends up saving the prince from I think like his evil uncle, all original, or something like that. I can't remember for sure. It's been a while since I've seen this one, but I remember the basic premise. And then it ends with him being saved, but in the process, she lost her amulet to turn into a she can't turn into a human anymore. Oh, hello, Wolf. Good to see you. Yeah, not a bad week. I'm in kind of a bit of a problem with family. Every time I have to read. I don't know what that means either. I sent it over as like a normal file. Do you not have Word? Well, that shouldn't be a problem. I don't know. That's weird because I sent it over as a Word file, Word document. And even if it wasn't that on Discord, sometimes you can just open it as like a text file. So I don't know. That's weird. If you want to, drop me a DM in Discord with like an email or something, and I can email it to you. If that might work better, Ira. You get like a drop curtain. Something like that. Make background. I don't know. Just thinking about that. Like, need a background. Work is boring. Yeah, but I don't mind. I don't mind working. Keeps me busy, keeps me out of trouble. For now. Yeah, pays the bills. What's another old anime I haven't thought about in a while? We talked about Orphan last week. I've talked about Loki Ragnarok before. That one was good. DC. Batman all the way. I don't care what anybody says. I love Batman. He's my absolute favorite. I have a whole OC that goes into the Batman universe, so yeah. On Wednesday, my class had a section 3 for Christmas quiz. Wow. Either she sucks at teaching or y'all sucked at studying. But I'm glad she let you retake it. Sometimes teachers are nasty and they'll be like, well, this is going to be your grade because it's punishment for not studying. It's like a lesson learned the hard way kind of deal. So I'm glad they didn't do that to you. Really glad they didn't do that to you. That would have, you want to talk about a mood killer, that would have been it. So what's it for you, Wolf? DC or Marvel? During the term process, I didn't stop listening. Well, I don't like that either. I don't like that either when teachers are like, "Oh, there's this quiz. It's going to be over like vague sections, and then it's over nothing that they said it was going to be. It was like over one that was recent or further back, and you're like, what did I just study? I just looked at what you told me to, and it ended up not being at all what the quiz was about, like not even remotely." So I hate it when teachers do that too. When they're like, "Oh, you can just study this, and it'll be on the quiz, or it'll be about the," and then they change it completely, and you're like, "What the did I study for then? If I was going to fail anyway, why did I put in the effort to study something that wasn't even going to be on this quiz?" Nice, Ira. Nice. Should we have a second? See, that's exactly my point. How can they expect you to know and to do well on something when they don't even prepare you for it? If they're gonna teach that way, they need to do better at preparing you for it. Here, as far as like Marvel and DC, I feel like this sound random, but I grew up when DC characters and heroes were big in the animated scene, so they were like the predominantly seen ones. Like Justice League was a thing, Justice League Unlimited, Teen Titans, Static Shock, and a bunch of others. And then when I was a teenager, the Marvel movies started coming out, and that influenced all of the kids behind me. So I was influenced by the animated series, like Batman animated series and all that. So that's why I like DC more, because that was more what I watched, what I saw. And then everybody who was behind me at like 5-10 years, they saw the Marvel movies, and so they are all big Marvel fans. So I think it's just more what you grew up with. Like, I did see the original Spider-Man when they came out. I thought they were great. I thought Spider-Man was awesome. Honestly, I think Spider-Man is probably my favorite hero in Marvel. Him, and then I learned Blade was Marvel. I didn't know Blade was Marvel. I thought he was like an original, completely new superhero. And I liked him too. And then I watched X-Men and all that, but those movies weren't that big. Like, they were big, but not really. It's not like now where everybody's hyped for the Marvel summer blockbusters. No, it was like those superhero movies were a joke. They were an absolute joke. Superhero movies didn't start getting really serious until about Iron Man coming out, and then the Nolan versus Batman. Once those came out, then people started taking superhero movies more seriously, it seemed like. And then from there, like, DC stalled out in the movie scene and Marvel overtook them in the movie scene, but DC still remains pretty strong in the animated front. So I will say, like, for animated, it's definitely DC dominant, and then for movies, it's Marvel. But more people see Marvel than they do DC nowadays. So, and then what DC has come out with for movies is like they're trying to play the ultimate catch-up game, and they shouldn't be playing catch-up. They should just be doing, like, release the Batman movie, then release the Wonder Woman movie, then release the Superman, then release these movies like they did in Marvel, like one at a time, tell a story, build the world. Then we can have the Justice League meet. We don't need to like keep jumping the guns to get to the final, to get to where Marvel is today. Marvel has taken like 10, 15 plus years to get where they are today. I take both DC and Marvel because I have some favorite heroes from both, and movies too. Nice. Before the quiz gave us all definitions, but given we're really going to work on. What? That's ridiculous. I can understand, Shar, why you hate your history teacher. Sometimes at school they show this boring topic as nothing like good, and I don't know why they never. Right? Yeah. But I mean, as somebody pointed out, they're like, even if they taught you how to be an adult, you guys, like, people still wouldn't pay attention. But I'm like, at least they would have put in effort. The effort to teach you. Saw something on Facebook yesterday. It was a picture of Daredevil and Wanda side by side, asking what they have in common. It's bad. Oh God. Oh God. But I did see that they're doing a new. They're gonna next year, I believe. Next fall, they're doing a new Scarlet Witch movie with Wanda, and then they're redoing Daredevil. So it's not going to be on the same vein as the Netflix show, they said, which I don't know how they're not when they're literally using the same dude. But whatever. Their phrasing. But they're using him, and they're going to do a new Daredevil movie, which I like. I actually liked that version of Daredevil a lot. I watched some of that series, and he was really good. And then I watched the clip from Spider-Man, where he was the lawyer for Peter Parker. I'm like, yep, he fits right in. I would watch his movie. I'd watch his movie because the actor is amazing. I love the actor. He's in one of my other favorite movies. He plays Tristan in Stardust, Neil Gaiman's Stardust. I recommend watching that one too. It's really great fairy tale, but he's a really good actor, and I'm glad they picked him. My first map quiz, she gave me a D for spelling a word wrong. Good thing it was just a quiz. It didn't bring my grade down. That's good. Like some schools say about the birds and the bees. So in high school, but my school, we did that in 7th grade, like to tell us where the babies come from. I already know how familiar with that. How old was this when? I mean, sex ed was a thing throughout most of my. Like I saw, like it started in like 5th grade, and did it in 6th grade, 5th and 6th grade. Was it 5th and 6th grade? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was 6th grade. Yeah, 5th and 6th grade. No. Yes. No. Yes. Where the hell did I go to school? It's like fifth. It was there was some element of 5th grade, and then I think it was 6th and 7th grade. It was there too. But other students, they were traumatized. My school did that too, and I was like, okay, I don't care. The school I went to when that was going on, I was signed out, so my mom didn't have me do it. I mean, it didn't matter. I probably wouldn't like. I don't know. I feel like schools don't teach it well. Like from what I've heard, they don't teach it well. But I didn't know the ins and outs of it. But I do know that they were teaching abstinence. They were doing the abstinence one because they had like at the end of the whole thing, they were handing out abstinence cards for people to sign. I'm like, and my teacher handed me one. I'm like, I didn't do the class. I don't think I get one of these. She's like, oh, and I was in my head going, don't give this to her. And I still gave you one. I'm like, what is she gonna do? But I just gave it back. Do you know the answer? I do not know the answer. I'm either thinking it's something weird sexual or it's something about people who are dead. Or something about them being like one to being blind. I don't know. I don't know. So I do not know the answer, Wolf. I'm sorry. Other than the red. That's about the only thing I can think they have in common is they're red. They have no vision. I had a feeling it was about blind. Not in the way that they were, but yeah, that's good. I like that. Everybody in my group here was traumatized, and I. How can you be okay? My question is, in today's world, how can you be traumatized by anything remotely related to that when that's literally just on the internet? Like you can do anything, and you find it. Remember the old Spider-Man movie? Okay, girl. Sorry. Okay. Uh, it wasn't old to me because I saw it when it came out. It came out on my brother's birthday. He was really into. He was getting into Spider-Man, so I went and saw it. Yeah, Tobey Maguire, and now he's in Spider-Man: Homecoming. Homecoming? No, Into the Multiverse. Whatever the hell this recent movie was called from Spider-Man. Oh my god, the old one, and then the Andrew Garfield one is considered like mid, and then we have Tom Holland, who's the new, and like, oh my god, Tobey Maguire was my Spider-Man. I liked him up until, well, I liked the Spider-Man series right up until the third one. The third one sucked, like legit sucked. I just pretend it doesn't exist. Like I pretend the third Godfather movie doesn't exist. I can tolerate the second one for both of those, but I don't. The third one were so bad. I just ignore them. My science teacher was like, the principal asked me to teach it to you, so I'm going to teach it to you. I mean, doing projects on diseases is pretty normal for me. I studied biology, so I had to sometimes do lab reports and stuff on different various diseases or figure out what something was, so that didn't bother me. Moon, are you okay? I just realized what you're figuring out when we learn about sex. Uh, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm understanding the question. I'm okay. I'm like, I'm just tired. That's why I keep rubbing my eyes. But as far as the sex ed thing, I did learn it from my parents. I just didn't learn it in school. My mom didn't feel comfortable with the school teaching it. I just didn't know what they were teaching. I just knew they were doing the abstinence thing because of the cards. But I know a lot of schools did that. Like they promoted the abstinence way. They didn't promote anything else. They didn't do contraceptive or whatever. So if that's what that was about, yeah. But my mom didn't feel comfortable with the school. I'm like, whatever. I mean, I ended up in my biology class, in my study of biology, doing anatomy and physiology. So we definitely learned about all of that then. So it's like if I didn't have enough education about it between the ages of 12 and 18, well, I turned 19 and 19 in college and learning about it in anatomy. So what the fuck? It's always there. I'm surprised you didn't talk about abstinence since it was Christian. I'm fine. And I'm not forcing myself. I'm willingly doing this. I'm just like it hit me all of a sudden out of nowhere. So I'm sorry. My eyes are itchy. I was around people who had cats, so that might be part of it too. I'm highly allergic to cats. So if even I get I got better with allergy shots, but even if I'm around people for a long extended period of time or I get it on me somewhere, it bothers me. So that's part of it too, I think, because I was just around a bunch of people that had cats, that have cats. That's probably part of it too. I'm tired and allergies are being funny. So if I lose my voice, don't be alarmed. It's just my allergies. Fun, right? My school is a school for kids with special needs, and I'm one of them because I have ADHD and autism. Figure something out. What was the worst injury you have had at school? Um, I never really got injured at school. Yeah, I never. Um, yeah, I never got injured at school that I remember. I never had to call my mom to bring me, like, to get me home from an injury, from being sick. Yes, I guess the closest thing to an injury would be, um, I bit down on a fruit roll up, like that was rolled up, and popped a tooth that was loose, and I had to pull it myself. I was 8 years old and I'd never pulled a tooth by myself. I was scared to death. Um, and I pulled it out, and they didn't have one of those little cap like tooth necklaces that you normally get. So I had to put mine in a little baggie, and everybody was so fascinated by it because it was a silver tooth and they wanted to see what it looked like underneath. They were so fascinated by it. My teacher told my mom later, she's like, I should have just canceled class for the rest of the day because nobody wanted to learn anything. They wanted to look at her tooth. I'm like, okay. Weird, morbid, but okay. Keep asking my dad to get a cat. No, he's like, yeah, no. I feel bad. Like my mom is just as allergic to cats as I am, and my brother brought a cat home. So I don't know how she does it because she's just as allergic as I am, maybe a little less than, because she could at least tolerate them being in her general area. I could not. I couldn't even be in a house that had previously had a cat. That's not bad my allergies were. But yeah, but she has to take, I guess, allergy medicine all the time, and she has to really clean her whole house. Like she already does, but I mean, like full on deep cleans to get more of the dandruff. So she's not, because when her allergies act up, she gets really a really scratchy voice. Like it gets really bad, and she loses her voice a lot. So I feel bad for her because my brother has a cat and he lives with them. It was in 4th or 5th grade. I got hit by a softball. Last year I got hit by a door on the right side of my face, and this year I got hit by a football. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, no, I didn't get injured. I injured people, but that was a lacrosse thing, and I was a beast at lacrosse. I have a bruised ear from school. So I can't say I got injured in like between kindergarten and 12th grade, but when I was in college, I did a fencing course, with the swords and everything, because I'd done that previously. And when we were doing an exercise, I tripped and fell and hit the back of my head. I didn't have a concussion or anything. It just bounced my head a bit, but I had to sit out for the rest of the class. And the teacher had to write up a report. I could tell he wasn't happy about that. Luckily, I had an EMT in my class, so she was very helpful. She kept a nice pack on me at all times. It was awesome. Your school did fencing? My school did not do fencing officially. My college had a course for it, so I did that. But when I was learning, I went to a fencing academy that was in the town I was living in, and it was taught by an Olympic fencer, and it was awesome. And I still remember how to do it. I would love to get back into it. It's one of those that's so niche in. It's so niche. They don't have a lot for it, but I would totally do it again. It was so much fun. It was like in the class, I think ranking wise, I was like second. The reason I wasn't first was we had somebody in, and mind you, this was like a beginner course. Supposedly. We had a chick in there who was a little younger than me, and she'd already been fencing for like 5 years. I'm like, explain to me how this is fair that she's here and she's done 5 years of fencing, and none of us have done much recently or at all. But no, she was cool and I liked it, and she was a great partner. She taught me a lot. I was just like, why are you here? Shouldn't she be in like a more advanced course? But my brother also went to the same school, so he and I used to fence sometimes. It was fun. My school was going to do archery, but then Corona happened, so my schools. I went to several schools that did an archery unit. They never had actual bows. They had those pinky plastic ones. Didn't shoot for shit. Then I got a real bow. I've actually done that. I actually did archery practice for that like once or twice a week after I got my bow. Once or twice a week for like 6-7 months. It's a lot harder than it looks. Mostly because the strings are not easily pulled with your fingers. What they actually do is they give you a clip-on for your wrist, and you can use it to hook onto a certain section of the drawstring, and you pull it back, and you hold it back with your wrist, and you aim with your other hand. So you're holding it like this, and you have your finger on the trigger on the piece on your wrist. And then once you're ready, once you're aimed, you click the thing on your wrist. You pull the trigger basically, and it will fire the arrow for you. It's not one of those where you can because the ones they use for hunting are heavy duty. Like if you can pull it, you have to be like a full on like adult, and because it hurts. I tried doing it a couple times. It hurts. So the wrist clip is essential. Softball hit like my whole face. Didn't see it coming during PE and helping one of the teachers. Ooh. Dude, no. Oh. That sounds miserable. My poor brother. He got in PE, he ran into a wall. He was running, and someone like distracted him for a moment, and he didn't see where he was going, and he went smack right into the wall. The teacher had to write up a report, and he wasn't happy either. That's a funny story, but I was like, how do you run into a wall? I didn't think that was I thought that was just in movies, like in comedies and stuff. I thought it was just a thing that people thought could happen was funny. No, it's a thing that can happen. I never knew that until my brother did it. Kid at my school body slammed on the football team. Body slammed another kid on the football team. Ooh, good. No, thank you. But I mean, you kind of take that risk when you're freaking in football. Like, I get people like it. People love football. Why the fuck do you want to play it? All you do is get hit. All you do is like break bones, get concussions, all sorts of stuff. I get it's violent and fun, but if you want violent and fun, do hockey. I mean, you run the same risk, but hockey, at least you can get bloodier. Run 12. Oh, God. Not in school, but maybe at 5, not sure. My auntie's boyfriend's son was digging with a hoe in the yard, and I was curious about what he was doing. Looked at the hole, was told to move, did it. The next thing I know, oh God. Oh God. No. Kid with the whole leg broken. It always ends up that way. That sucks for him though, Shar. Sucks for you, Wolf. Oh my God. It hurt, but I never broke my body, and while I did hit my chin when I was 2, I guess. The only broken bone so far I've had in my life was my collarbone when I was an infant. I guess that broke when I was being born because my shoulders were too wide, so they pushed together and broke, and it healed pretty well. I think there's like barely any remnants of it that you can't tell. Like they can't even tell on an X-ray that it was ever broken. It was more like it's just a note in my old records. Putting a tiny kid against a taller, larger kid, thinking football coach. No, they were not. That actually reminds me. When I was in right after high school, I went back to a homecoming game with my siblings who were going to the same school. And that football game was a disaster. The quarterback for our team, for our school's team, was all like 5'5". It was this tiny kid right behind all these big dudes who are like, we're a linebacker. They were huge dudes. And then you got this tiny little quarterback. It's like, who thought this was a good idea? And then you hear, like, as they're losing, you hear everybody that's from my school, like all the parents going, whose kid is that? Put someone else in. Whose kid is that? Because it was one of those towns where, everybody knows everybody. Certain people got special privilege because of who they were in the town, stuff like that. It was quite entertaining, to be honest. I touched where it hurt, saw the blood and screamed loud. Oh God. Nope. Closest I ever got to that, to doing something like that, something happened to me. I fell off a scooter. I was on a scooter, shouldn't have been, because my mom told me not to, and I didn't listen, and this is why I didn't get a scooter. It was going down a hill. It was my neighbor's scooter. I was on the scooter going down a paved hill. I was going way too fast, lost control. The scooter flew out from under me, and my face decided that it wanted to meet the asphalt personally. So my whole face skidded across that asphalt for a good couple feet. I saw I went because my neighbor's mom was with us. She took me over to my mom, very terrified because, I'm her responsibility when my mom's not with me. Go back. I had a scratch that went from the top of my head to the bottom of my chin, straight down. The worst of it was my nose. Like, it took layers of skin off my nose. And I had asphalt in my palm. Like, it was a mess. And there was asphalt in the cuts and everything. I was a mess. I was a dripping, bloody mess. We went to urgent care first. And they're like, we don't do head injuries. My mom's like, she didn't get her head injured. She just scratched her face. And they're like, well, it still counts. So then we ended up at the hospital. And I got a CAT scan. That was fun. They had to make sure I didn't have a concussion. But I was so tired. I was like emotionally drained from the whole experience because my dad was furious. My mom was furious. I was like, I'm feeling stupid now. Please stop getting mad. And by the time I got to the hospital, I was falling asleep. And my mom's like, and the doctors and the nurses were like, you do not fall asleep. I'm like, why not? And they're like, well, if you have a concussion, you're going to fall asleep and you're not going to wake up. I'm like, I don't know at this point if it really was a concussion or not, but I really wanted to sleep. And then I fell asleep in the CAT scan. And I guess I didn't have a concussion because I woke up and they told me that they were amazed that fall didn't at least crack the front of my head. Like, yeah, I just have a really nasty scratch that I have to go to school with. And I had to put special ointment on that whole scratch. It was not fun. And I walked into school that following Monday. I believe it was over a weekend thing. And I walked in the following Monday and everyone looked at me and went, what the hell? Even my teacher was like, because I had to hand her the note that told the teacher what happened and that I had to, that I could have special permission to go get to the nurse and get new ointment because I had to apply like 3 times a day. It was crazy. I absolutely regret going on that stupid scooter. I absolutely do regret going on that stupid scooter, but lesson learned. I listened to my mother after that, and I didn't sustain any heavy scarring, so that's even better. I honestly thought my nose was going to be messed up for like years, and no, I think the most I have, if you look, and you have to look like really close on the bridge of my nose, you see like this little outline of where the chunk was removed. But yeah, no substantial scarring, which I'm grateful for. I was like, oh my God, my face is going to be so messed up for the rest of my life. I got lucky. I got very lucky. But imagine trying to wear glasses while you have like active open wound here and it's covered in ointment. That wasn't fun either because I had to wear glasses too because I couldn't see the freaking board. So I'm wearing glasses. My nose is covered in ointment. And it was horrible. I regret it. It was a good lesson to learn though. Only 2 messed up. Yep. And I was the reason why my siblings didn't get scooters either. So they weren't happy with me about that. About that at all. I'm like, I'm almost also the reason we didn't get bicycles because I couldn't ride a 2-wheeler for a long time too. Like my mom was trying to teach me, and I decided that I wanted to meet the fence personally. Because she was teaching me to ride in our backyard. Like we had a slight hill, and she was like, "Okay, this will be great to learn how to do braking and how to turn." I'm like, "Okay." I went down, and I for some reason I froze, and I couldn't stop, and I almost crashed into a fence. So I don't do well with anything on wheels. I barely did well in a car when I first was learning. I couldn't, like, I would physically stop breathing whenever I was in a car when I was learning to drive. My mom would have to literally remind me breathe, and I'm like, thank you. I'm falling off of skates a lot. My mom told me to just stop, and I stopped using skates. I didn't even get far enough with skates. I'm like, I can't do scooters. I can barely do bicycles. Do I really want to push my luck with skates? My siblings can do skates really well. I cannot. But I've accepted I'm not coordinated on anything with wheels. I'm barely able to, like I said, I was barely able to drive a car when I was first learning. Now it's better. Now I at least breathe and relax enough to, not freak out. But it was a close call. When I was leaving to ride a bike, it crashed into a ditch and was covered in oof. Nope. I can see your mom being like, and that's what you listen to your mother. Yeah, I heard that a lot growing up. I should have listened to her more. But, kids don't. We can talk to our kids till we're blue in the face, but if they don't want to listen, they're not going to listen. And then they're going to have consequences. And then, that's when they realize we were right. Or that mothers are right, and fathers too. It's like, you don't listen at all until it happens. Like, if you listen, something good will happen. If you don't listen, something bad will happen, and you'll realize that the good thing could have happened if you had listened. But, we have to learn the lesson the hard way, because otherwise we don't learn the lesson at all. I'm too scared to ride these When we have 2 wheels. 3 wheels. I also have a bad balance in my age. I probably would have done better on 3 wheels, to be perfectly honest. But I could still it's been years since I rode a bike, but I could still probably do to it. Be wobbly at first, but I got really good at riding a 2-wheeler eventually. Like I got to the point where, this, when you're riding really hard and you don't have to brake because you have enough control, I would be able to like lean into the curve and turn without having to stop. It was awesome. It was like being on a very much slower and smaller motorcycle in that regard, but that was cool. I go from crashing into fences to being able to do corners. Like, great improvement. A few years ago, I used to collect frogs from my ditch, and I didn't realize. I hope she didn't get any kind of weird diseases. I know that you don't technically get warts from frogs or toads or whatever, but you kind of could get other things from them without realizing it. So I hope she was okay. I don't like amphibians. Like I don't do frogs. I don't do lizards. I'm sure I've said this. There's something creepy about them. Like I can barely do most animals, but anything in the reptile, amphibian, lizard category, no. So she's messed up in the head. It's not my fault. It's the frog. She did one of those toads. I think that was a Futurama episode where they lick the toads and they get high. That was one of them. Okay, on rollerblades when I only skate. Anyways, no sooner do I start to the hang of it every time some random young child walks in front of me and I can't stop. God. To force myself to trip. Oh my God. No. No. I actually, funnily enough, my dad took me ice skating, figure skating when I was a kid. And then I did it again when I was older. I actually balanced really well on skates. On those skates. On ice skates. I can't do wheels. Like, I can't do wheels at all. At all. Just blades. I don't know why. Maybe I like them. Maybe my distribution of my center of gravity was better on those than on wheels. Who knows? Her fault. She should have common sense. You would think. But, people do dumb things. Maybe she was helping for a prince. You remember those weird ankle toys that you have to roll up and keep your leg up and they don't hit your leg? They're called ankle break. Are those little skipping things where you put the loop over one ankle and then you're supposed to swing it and you're supposed to jump over it? And it's a really strange coordination game because it's like got a little ball in the end that rolls across and you're supposed to jump over the string that's attached. Because I remember those. I wasn't very good at those either. I would never be able to ice skate. I don't think I could do ice skating nowadays. I haven't gone in a while, so maybe. But I remember it was a lot of fun when I was a kid. I enjoyed doing it. It's actually some of the fondest memories I have with my dad is the few weekends he took us to the ice rink, me and my sister. We would skate for like an hour or more, and we got really good. Not like, figure skating levels, but we were at least coordinated enough that we didn't need anybody's assistance or one of those chairs or anything. And then we would go to Friendly's restaurant after and I would get chicken tenders with honey mustard, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. But yeah, we didn't go much. We didn't go much after we moved from that place. Now that I'm looking back at my childhood, I did not learn how to tie my shoes until I was 8 because people made it too complicated. I think my kindergarten required that we learned how to tie our shoes because my teacher and the teacher's aide couldn't go around tying everybody's shoes. So she made it a point to teach us all. And then my parents made it a point to reinforce the teachings. Same with the jackets. Same with putting jackets on. I don't know how many kids learn to do this, but you put your jacket on the ground with the top part facing you and you hook your arms in and you lift it up and it like falls on you, kind of twisted in a way. That's how I learned to put a jacket on. And you get the bunny rabbit method. I don't remember how I learned to do it. I think I was just told. I was just shown how to do it. I didn't get any cute whatever they're called to remember it. Yeah, I think my parents just like flat out told me, you take these two strings, you put one over the other and you pull, and you should get this cross section, and then you loop one here, and then you take the other string, the shoelace, you wrap it around the bottom here, and you pull through on both, and then you form a loop with the other one, push it. Like, I did not get the cute little, this is a rabbit ear thing that I remember. Maybe I'm remembering wrong and my mom would tell me differently, but as far as I remember, I didn't learn that. Like, I learned it in school, but I thought it sounded stupid. Like, what does a bunny have to do with all this? And then I saw some kids that were really cool, that I thought were really cool. They would double knot in one shot on their, because I always wore my laces, and I still to this day, for most of my shoes with laces, I wear double knot, because I don't want them falling apart, like getting loose and whatever. So I thought some of these kids were really cool because they would do the cross part, and then they would make two loops with their shoelaces and then tie those together. Like they would, like they were tying their shoe and pull, and it was already double knot. I'm like, oh, that's so clever. But then I would try, and I'm like, this is a big knot. I think they're more like those, but they didn't have the string. It was like a plastic ball of freaking thick glass. I forgot. Yeah. I hated those things. My mom bought, like, my sister and I wanted one because they looked fun. But, with a lot of toys you see, like with a lot of toys you saw on TV growing up, it didn't work. It probably could work on better people, but my poor sister, she's severely pigeon-toed, so her feet, instead of being straight, turn in like pigeons, like pigeon feet. They turn in. I'm the same way, but it's not as bad. But hers are that bad, and she had it twisted her knees basically too. So she couldn't really, she could kind of do it, but it wasn't as well coordinated because her knees didn't swing right. And then with me, I'm just very uncoordinated. So I would try to spin it, and I would try to hop at the same time, and I would end up tripping over myself because I didn't time it right. But it's why I could barely do jump rope. I could barely do jump rope because I would get it going, but then, my feet would decide to act on their own, and I would step on the rope or something. And yeah. I possibly make some people feel old, but who remembers Zoo Pal and Pillow Pets? Zoo Pal plates, yes. And Pillow Pets, yep. It's a pillow. It's a pet. It's a pillow pet. I remember the commercial. I was a weird child because I used to pretend I was falling to my doom and came home with a tiny hole at the bottom. Nice. I made them too tight with double knots, and Mom had to try to untie them when I would, and I couldn't have questions. I think I did the same thing. My mom told me to stop, and I didn't listen because I'm like, I don't want my laces to come apart at school or gym class or something. So eventually I learned how to undo my double knots. So then she didn't have to. I mean, you should learn how to undo your own shoes anyway, but it happens. Double knots were a lifesaver though. And then I learned in high school, roughly, about wearing high heels all the time, and those don't come with laces. So I would do that a lot. I wore heels all throughout high school and college and work and my pregnancy, and still do. I love high heels. I don't do like the formal wear. I do like high-heeled boots, high-heeled sandals. I'll sometimes wear high heels for fancy nights out, but those things pinch your feet like nobody's business, and they hurt like a mother. And I don't do those too often. But boots and sandals and stuff, yeah, all the time. My feet always turn inwards or skipping, which I'm like, ooh, damn. Yeah, I don't know what was up with me in jump rope. I could get a good rhythm going, but as soon as I noticed I was doing a great job, it was like my feet just decided to stomp. on it or trip on it or something. I'm like, come on. That's why other kids never want to play with me. Guess why I have to have. Heels and my lack of balance is not a good compliment. I have great balance and coordination when it comes to heels, not wheels. I don't understand it. Maybe because the heels are more solid on the ground than wheels are, but I can walk for days, miles in heels. Second you put me on anything with wheels, I'm like a newborn deer. I'm falling over myself all the time. Who remembers the weird toys called Lala Loopsies? I remember them. I still have toys. I used to have. It's the only one, but I have some moves. Nice. I do remember Lala Loopsies. I always thought the name was weird. Like, and does anybody remember Polly Pocket? Like when Polly Pocket was little, and then when Polly Pocket was like 3 inches tall. I had both the little playset. I thought they were the cutest things. And then I had the 3-inch tall ones. And then they had the show. Show was like Barbie, but Polly Pocket. Love all the Loopsies. They were my show. Who remembers when Barbie had movie series that weren't about surfing and stuff? It was like Rapunzel, the Nutcracker, Fairytopia, all of that. Never heard of Polly Pocket. Polly Pocket was they started out. I was 6 when they came out, 5, 6 when they came out. They were these little tiny foldable scenes that had these little magnetic dolls that were Polly Pocket because they fit in your pocket because the whole thing could fit in a pocket. And then once they got really popular and they were deemed a choking hazard, they made them 3 inches tall with rubber clothes that could come on and off. It was basically Barbie but tiny. That's what Polly Pocket was, and I think it's still a thing now. And they made a show for it for a while. The show was pretty funny. At least I remember it being funny, but it probably isn't anymore. Yes, I remember those Barbie movies. Me and my young cousin watched them all the time. Nice. But if you don't have a pocket, then you asked your parents to put them up somewhere for you. But yeah, the whole gimmick was they were small enough to be travel-sized toys that go in your pocket, go anywhere with you. They were deemed a choking hazard, and for more than just, because you can swallow it, it's also because they had magnets in them. So, if you swallow too many, the magnets will seek out each other and can actually clip your intestines together. So, lesson learned, don't swallow magnets. Can't wear high heels because of my height, because I'm short, and plus I have bad balance. Plus suckers hurt, and hurt in the back of your foot, like it scratched. I mean, yeah, my problem is it'll be too tight across my feet, and then it'll rub up on my heel, so not fun. Grew up watching Barbie movies. The first one was the Nutcracker. Yep. Yeah, the Nutcracker was the first one. I had the Nutcracker movie, and I had the Nutcracker doll series. My sister and I both had one. We both had a Nutcracker. We both had a Clara, and then we split the little children because they dressed up all the little children different, and we had those. And then Rapunzel came out. We had them. Princess and the Pauper was our absolute favorite. It's not Princess and the Pop Star, it's Princess and the Pauper. And I had Erica, and she had Annalise, and we had Julian and Dominic and the cats. And they had little children at the end, but it wasn't really a big thing. But we had them, and we didn't have Island Princess, but we had Rapunzel, because you could actually pull the hair out and make it longer. And then we had Barbie Swan Lake. We had that one. We had that series. We had most of them for the big ones that came out. And then after Swan Lake, I think that's when Fairytopia started coming out. And my sister liked Fairytopia. I didn't like Fairytopia that much. And then after that, and then there was Barbie and the Pegasus, because we got the video game for that one. I think we only had the doll. I don't even think we had the doll for that one, but we had the movie and we had the video game, and that was it. We stopped watching after Barbie and the Pegasus, and then it got, kind of dumb. I've seen some of the newer Barbie movies, not that great. I've seen some of the Barbie shows. Barbie in the Dream House is freaking hilarious. Like, I would willingly watch that just because they are great. Like, those, I don't know who wrote that series. They need an Emmy or something because that writing was phenomenal. Like, Barbie and her sisters are great. I love Kelly. No, is it Kelly or Chelsea? I think they renamed Kelly as Chelsea. I think. But it's the little one that was either Kelly or Chelsea. And oh my God, she is freaking maniacal and I love her. And she's my favorite. I remember watching the Lala Loop show. I didn't do Slug Terra. I've seen the fairy one and the Pegasus Princess one. Nice. Had my eldest niece and nephew here yesterday, and she showed me all of her artwork she's doing commission. Wow! Congratulations to her. Remember Polly Pocket? I used to have some of the toys and Poppy in my pocket. Yep, I remember that. I can't draw half of this as much as her. Oh God, yeah, I feel that, Wolf. Did you know that Barbie and Ken broke up? For a while they did, and then they got back together. Yeah, I remember that. Barbie and Fairytopia and Barbie and the Magnet Pegasus. It's on 2005. That was the year I was born, and I feel really old right now. You feel really old, girl. I was 9. No, I was not 9. I can't do math. I'm doing math in reverse. Sorry. I was 11. Yeah, 11. 11. Oh, shit. 11. Yeah, I was 11. Sorry, I couldn't do math there for a second. I was adding in the wrong direction. For some reason, I thought I was born in 96. I'm born in 94, obviously. But yeah, I was not born yet. I was 11 when that movie came out, and I can remember I was like, I didn't like the Fairytopia series, so we stopped watching after Fairytopia. Who remembers all those custom websites that they used to make for like Barbie.com and Bratz.com and all sorts of other ones where you could go on and you could play different games based on those characters? My sister and I would go on the Barbie one a lot. They had some really cool games. And then I think we tried to go on after a couple years of not being on, and we went and it had changed completely. There were no more games. It was all this promotional stuff and not even fashion. It was more like just you can buy this series or this is coming out, and it was lame. We were so disappointed that they took away all the cool games. Remember Barbie in the Crystal Palace? Barbie was wearing a dress for sibling the lesbian flag, and her friend have a dress. I don't remember that one. I believe I stopped watching after Fairytopia came out, and then I remember some would come out. Like I would see the commercials for them, and I was just like, nah, those aren't as good anymore. It's not as good anymore. I wouldn't watch it. I heard of them. Like they had 12 Dancing Princesses come out, and I'm like, I don't like this movie at all. And then you remember that in the depths of my childhood. Alrighty, well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me for this lovely hangout. I hope you all had a good night. I hope you all have a great upcoming week, and I will see you at the next hangout. Have a good week, everybody. Bye-bye.